Hey guys, welcome to the latest edition of Author Talks on Literary Yard. And in this edition, we will talk to yet another literary personality. Hello, Literary Yard viewers. Welcome to the latest edition of Author Talks. In this edition, we have with us Dr. Vanaja Malathy. Has been a PRO and Chief Coordinator for Admissions in Jyoti Nivas College Autonomous, Bangalore for several years. Dr. Malathy has received a host of awards in academics as well as creative writing. Without further ado, we will listen to her story from her. Let's jump into the discussion and straight away welcome Dr. Vanaja Malathy. Vanaja, could you please introduce yourself? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, Mr. Onkar Sharma, let me first thank you for this invitation to this YouTube channel, this video. It was something very unexpected for me, something very exciting. Thank you so much. And secondly, let me thank you for all the number of my works are featuring in your literary art journal. And I feel very proud to have been participating in this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, ma'am. It's a pleasure speaking to you as well as publishing your works. You've been a very good writer, and your works have influenced our readers. And I personally felt that your writing is very impactful and full of imagination, but particularly the poetry. I would want to understand from you, since you have spent quite a lot of time in academics, and now you are focusing more on creative side of writing. So how do you see this transition? How do you are you enjoying this, or do you still relate yourself to teaching more than creative writing?
Yeah. Yes. See, I have been in teaching career right from the time I was 19 years. So I have been teaching right from that time, and teaching has been a passion for me. And then I have always loved teaching. And if I have, apart from teaching, I have got passion for so many talents, for so many skills. I have, for instance, dancing, and then the stitching, painting, and all these things, thanks to the institutions where I worked. I was lucky enough to work in very reputed missionary institutions right from the start. I worked with St. Anne's in Secunderabad, and then St. Joseph's in KGF. Then I moved to Jyoti Nivas College. All these institutions, they had given me a great opportunity to show my talents through extracurricular, co-curricular activities. So that was really wonderful. And then writing has been always there. I think any teacher should have a zeal to write. So writing has been always there, but it was serious writing. Like after my getting my doctorate and more into academic writing, I went to a lot of state level and national level the papers I have released. And all this time, when it comes to academic writing, then every word of it has to get the references. And then it is a very serious writing. It takes a long time to complete. And after completing, you get a relief, but that relief is different from writing personal writing, going to personal writing. And this started, my life was going very smooth. Even after my retirement, I continued to work, and Jyoti Nivas College was very affectionate towards me. They did not want me to leave at all, even till today. Even I don't like to leave. And it so happened, I have told you about
Plus the
the
bond with your
circumstances.
students and
Yes.
the faculty
Yes.
members.
And when
It
I
is
moved to
a family.
the administration side from teaching side, I was a little bit apprehensive about how I would do. But, it had given me a greater scope, not only to interact with the students and also the parents. So like that way I had enjoyed, and then, I had grown with the institutions. But after that, and then after last year, due to unavoidable circumstances, and I
I
had
know, I
moved
read through
here,
it, and it was a
and
very
I have my
tragic
two
time.
daughters here in US. But once I started settling down here, after a few months, a sort of void would occupy my heart, especially in the night. Supposing when I have got a little sleep problem. When I don't get to sleep, then all sorts of negative feelings attack me. So one day in the last March, I was totally depressed. Something was lacking. I could not express this with anybody at all.
There are
Then,
few things that are,
yes,
very difficult to
because they
convey.
have been so loving towards me and they have arranged everything for me. And then, I have got no regrets at all for settling down here. But there was something missing. Then I thought, why not I think of all the memories instead of brooding over all the good memories that I have in my life. And immediately I wrote a poem in the night about the memories, good memories one should remember.
Wow.
Then it was very soothing, it was very cathartic in its effect. And then I didn't stop with that. You won't believe, within a few months, around 45 poems I had written, mostly autobiographical. Whatever I saw, whatever happened around me, all mundane things, went into my poetry.
I think
And
that's the magic of poetry, and
yes,
particularly the one who is writing, he's
yes,
able to sort of charge those mundane
that's true.
moments into really interesting
Mm.
events and
Yes,
musical.
exactly. Yes, that's what happened. And I started feeling very good. I felt as if poetry writing was my companion. Whatever I wanted, I could share with that. And then after that, a sort of relief to my mind. Because what happens in poetry writing, you have in your head some force. That force has to come out. So you have to take away that force from your head, give a shape to it, and then in the form of verse, you present it to the world,
Right.
world nearby, world afar, you present it, and then get their appreciation. That
Right.
is how it goes.
It's full of rigor plus. But
Yes.
after doing all of this, the buoyancy
Mhm.
that you have, that's inexpressible. So the kind of relief that you get, that you have
Yes.
created something, and
Mhm.
it means something, and has can relate to a lot of people with those personal moments of the events that you have experienced,
Yes,
and the way you
exactly.
have
True.
crafted that poetry.
True. So it is a mental exercise. You have to read a lot, and then you have to choose the words for your poem, and then you have to see to their sounds, see to their understand their meanings, and give them a shape, a form, and align them, align all the lines.
Right.
Do all this. This is exercise. By the time you do this, your brain function is in its peak.
True.
So it is a cognitive health exercise. It is an intellectual exercise to your mind. So you feel that relief. So after I started writing, all my apprehensions, all my fears, the lonesomeness, everything has disappeared. I felt there was a companion. And apart from that, within 6 months, I have written around 85 to 90 poems.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
any small, any small thing that has happened around me. And for instance, my youngest granddaughter is a 7-year-old, highly talented. She is. In no time, she will make some handicrafts. Her
Wow.
room is full of handwork and painting, stitching, whatnot, everything she does. So one day I was telling her, see, your room is so cluttered.
But
No, why don't you keep everything neatly in those shelves? Let it go. All the finished ones one side, unfinished ones. So this clutter you should remove. You know what she said? She said, "Grandma, I don't want to remove anything from the floor because as soon as I entered my room, I want to see. I must get motivated. If I see a needle, I get motivated to stitch. If I see a paintbrush, I get motivated." Then I was thinking, there is so much of intelligence in this message. What
right.
she says is very true. A number of times, what do
More
we
of
do? All the relics
the
that we
artist, if
collect,
you have
all
seen.
the keepsakes that we collect, we keep everything inside the showcases, inside the cupboards, and close it, and we forget about them. We
Right.
don't see them every day. Every minute we don't see them, so that we can make our memories fresh. So
True.
immediately I wrote a poem on that. How
Wow.
we can keep our keepsakes and how we can keep them like this. And then again, my another granddaughter, she had two teeth plucked for
Mhm.
some cosmetic effect. Then
Okay.
soon after she came from the dentist, we were all worried. We thought she started crying. Then we thought, because the teeth are expelled. And then
Mhm.
we thought she had that pain. But it was not so. The doctor had given those teeth that he had plucked in
Mhm.
a small type of a pendant
Uh-huh.
to wear it around her neck. And that somewhere it fell down because
Oh,
she had that anesthetic effect and she didn't keep it. She didn't
she couldn't keep that.
remember,
Right.
and she was crying for that. So I thought immediately I wrote a poem on that, how the teeth, which had shorter life on her gums, in her jaw, then they had a beautiful, smarter tomb.
I
So,
remember, the same
mm,
experience with my daughter as well.
uh,
The day she dropped her tooth, and she was really, worried,
uh,
and at the same time was dreaming a lot that tooth fairy will come and take her tooth away, maybe in the night. So,
yes, they take it to heart.
right, right, right.
So like
And
that.
ma'am, so moving
Mm,
forward,
mm, mm,
since you have spent quite a lot time in academics, particularly teaching English literature,
yeah.
so
Mm,
what difference do you see in teaching English today versus when you started? So do you see any change? I know a lot of things have happened. New authors have come in place. Plus,
mm,
there's a wave of authors who have written on this corporate life
yes.
or this
Mm,
academic life,
yeah, yeah.
and the likes of Chetan Bhagat and many others.
Yeah,
But
yes,
at the
yes.
same
Yeah.
time, there
Yes,
are
yes.
authors who
Mm,
are focusing on literary
mm,
fiction, literary,
yes.
writing. So, what sort of
Mm.
change do you really
This is
see?
a lot of revolution is going on. That see the literature that that we have learned, which belong to 14th to 16th century, 17th century till
True.
18th century. Then in all that we just believed whatever the authors and poets said. We just our
No questions
wavelengths
asked,
matched with
nothing.
theirs.
Yeah.
So we have just taken it for granted. But later on, this the people started having revolutionized ideas, and then some of these outdated, outmoded ideas they felt they should not be internalized. So
Right.
there is a lot of changes that is happening, and then there's more of criticism you know being studied. Each poem they take, each work that
Right.
was the European
The likes
literature.
of Wordsworth or
Yes,
Shelley
take
or
it. Yes,
others.
everything is commented on. Everything, there is it is a, it is a lot of a pressure, for the old timers. It hurts our feelings sometimes because we are so much used to just trust,
We had
just
to
have
start
belief
from
and love.
scratch, reading
Mm.
from all those old English to the modern ones, and a lot of transition in between, and the
Yes.
language variations
Yes,
in
yes.
all
Yes,
ages that we
language
had
also,
to.
language, it evolves. It
That's
keeps
right.
on changing. There's a lot of new words, the foreign words have entered, and then the very meanings have changed. The phrases have changed their meanings, and especially if it is American society, totally there is a change of
That's
meanings,
right. That's
what
right.
they use. So
And
it is
mostly,
a
I think,
challenging thing. Now, it is really a challenging experience teaching English. We
right.
have to be aware of all these changes that are going on around us. Only
And I
then we can
think
become.
the bigger challenge lies in understanding different types of trends which are surrounding us in today's
Yes.
world, where there are new authors. At the same time, there is a lot of influence from this
Mm,
digital
mm,
age or the internet
yes.
around us. A lot of
Mm,
words have come in
mm,
place. A lot of
yes.
modified, I would say,
Yeah.
um, um,
Mm,
versions of languages. There is English, there
Yes.
is Singlish, there is localized version of that. So I think the challenge is enormous.
That's it happens.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And lately I have also seen that kind of reflections of spirituality in your works and the
Yes.
writing that you have done. Could you please tell us
Yeah.
more about that?
Yes. See, my very shift into personal writing itself, I feel, there is a divine hand. Because for days, I was not very happy. I had all the comforts, physical comforts, and then everything, my family very loving towards me and all that. But I was thinking, what am I missing? Then that itself, the very intuition I had, the very inspiration that I had in the midnight to write the poem, that itself was something, unexpected and something that happened to me, which has changed my life. So I feel there is some divine hand in that. Otherwise, also, and we are a very. I am from a family where we have we have a lot of belief and trust in God. You know, like with puja and then all those things and minimum things we should do, and then we always believed that there is some supreme soul which
The
has a control
festivals
on
that we
all these things
raise.
that are,
Right.
yes, all that. And even my grandchildren, right from from the time they are small, from the time they are born, we have been coming up and going. And so I have inculcated this into them also, and they too love all this, this, what Indian culture demands. So I was thinking, see, when this itself, I felt, there was some divine touch. And I keep telling my grandchildren that, they see what is happening now, purely the youth now, especially in American society, in Western society.
Right.
Now, and especially if you are from the other cultures, you are confused. You don't know which culture to follow. So they keep on asking so many questions. My teenage grandchildren, my grandson asks so many questions. Why it is like this? Why it is like this? Everything, I have to go deep into the matter and then explain to him. And for that, I don't have sufficient knowledge, and I have to refer, I have to understand and then tell him.
Right.
So I wanted to instill this in their minds. See, he keeps on asking, where is God? Now, how can you see Krishna is blue in color? Did you see that he is blue in color? And then again, Ganesha is having a trunk, and then why it is like that? So
Right.
I keep telling him, see, to certain extent we can ask questions, and later on, certain things, there are evidences, and moreover,
And
so I
when
said,
you live
okay,
in
if
a
you,
society, I think when you live in India, you see
mm,
people who,
yes,
represent the images of gods which are around us. So
yes,
there are lesser questions.
correct.
Whereas, when you're
So that is
living
the
in a country
familiarity.
where all
They
people are
are
white,
familiar with the things, and so they just accept it.
right?
So I keep telling them nowadays, okay, you don't believe. If you don't believe there is Krishna, there is Rama like this, that is the image we are following. Then think of sun, sun
Hmm.
god. That's how, Aditya Hridayam I have
Right,
been playing at home, and then, they're all very comfortable with that. So I said, he is a Prataksha Daivam with this, he is the
right.
God that you can see. You cannot deny the fact that, every morning he rises and he comes into your house, whether you invite him or not, and then what benefits you are getting from the sun. The other day, I was reading in one of the websites, these Native Americans, they so much trust in this concept. They
Hmm.
make their children from in the morning to run towards the sun.
Hmm.
Sun is so much worshipped by them. So sun, we are seeing him on the sky. So
That's
you
right.
cannot say that he is not God. So I tell them to take those things. And then so that's how Aditya Hridayam became very close to our, all my grandchildren, our heart here. And every day we play that. So I
Right.
thought, whatever we do, there is some divine hand behind. So, and when you whatever you are doing, no, you do it with that in your mind that, there is somebody who is having a control on you. You are not the sole person, responsible for everything, good or bad of it. There is somebody, there is some hand.
There's some force that
See, more than
drives
anything,
us.
what it gives you a sort of soothing effect. It teaches you that, it gives you a little bit of humility. It teaches humility. So
Right.
with that humility, you ask questions. You go further and you go for a research and you question, whatever is the traditions or whatever it is. But at the same time, if you have that there is something working. And otherwise also, see, if it is just a common sense, you look at nature, how many millions of living beings are there and millions of things all around us, and the very creation of that, it makes you wonder that there must be some creator.
Force, obviously.
So that's what I feel, you take that in your mind and let it gel into your mind, that you are not solely responsible for everything.
True.
There is somebody working on. So that, more than anything, it gives you a little bit of humility. Once you have that humility, that ego is suppressed. All the problems start when you have ego. So all the other...
moving forward, what sort of, because having spent more than 4 decades in academics, and now, working on yourself through poetry and creative writing, what sort of, changes that you see, in writing, as well as, uh, uh, how do I articulate? Or, what sort of, messages that you have for, people who might be possibly in this dilemma in their 50s or in their 60s. They may have thought that they would write one day, they'll put down something on paper, but somehow for other reasons they could not. But now how they can, derive inspiration from the incidents, from the, from the life around them, and start, putting down their thoughts into words.
Yes, especially for a woman, I advise that a woman should write. See, because of so many factors responsible, a woman is not very free. So this sort of...
Particularly in Indian society,
Yes,
where,
so that's true.
lot of challenges
Lot of...
exist.
Yes, you are tied down. You are tied down to the house, and you are tied down to the customs. So just you have to come out of that, and then you need some medium, some platform through which you can emote your feelings. So especially women should write. Women should write, and people should know. You see, this writing, it not only gives you that cathartic feeling or the experience or whatever it is. Apart from that, when you write and submit to the journals and go for publishing, then what happens? You are getting readership. And this hobby of yours, this writing of yours is earning you friends.
That's right.
Your readers become your friends, and then the readers are going to be your friends with the same wavelength, who vibe the same way.
I think this is one of the best
So
ways
this is
to
how, you
de-stress.
can... This is this is how, you can make more friends. You can share your thoughts. You can see, whenever you tell the readers to comment, to write, please comment and write. I really salute to that advice that you give. We must do that.
Thank you
These
so much.
comments, these appreciation, negative or positive comments, they give such a satisfying feeling to you.
Right.
That should be there.
That's a sort of
And also they will connect you. They will
engagement.
connect you to the people. Through this writing, you won't believe, Omkar Sharma, through the writing, within these few months, I have made so many friends here. I don't have that loneliness.
I think that's
So
a
many friends I have.
wonderful takeaway. And you know, as you age, as you grow in life, you sort of try to isolate yourself from a lot of things. So I think
Yes,
writing is a medium that
yes,
can keep you engaged,
yes.
that can
Writing
have you a
is
lot of friends, and
5,000-year-old technique it is. That
true,
should be
true.
kept warm.
That's true. That's true. So, ma'am, thank you so much for your time and sharing your thoughts with us. I hope literary our readers or viewers, they would love to your interview. And if there are any questions, they will certainly post
Yeah,
down below in the
most
comment
welcome.
section. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so
Will be
much for
privileged.
being part of this conversation, and we will stay connected
Thank
for
you so much.
even in the
Thank
future.
you, Omkar Sharma. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's a
you.
privilege.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah.